Good afternoon, Divine Awakening Souls, Starseeds, Alchemists, Soul Tribe. Today I wanted to talk about higher self activation, connectedness to Source, downloads that we receive, and how to, considering the energy that we're putting out and what we really want to get back out of life and what we're doing on a day-to-day basis, what we're manifesting. There's a lot of activity out here today, as you can probably hear. But before we get started, let's all take a deep breath in and feel our deep connection to Source, Creator God, coming down from the Grand Central Sun, our crown chakra, deep into our heart. Close your eyes. Just take a moment. Feel that stillness within you. And then take that deep breath in. Put your hands on your heart, in through your nose. Feel the light of the Creator of all coming down your crown chakra, deep into your heart. And breathe out. Letting that love expand throughout your heart center, throughout your whole body, starting to form a beautiful sphere of light, protection around you, whatever color you most resonate with right now. Once again, breathing in that beautiful divine light from the Grand Central Sun, in through your crown chakra, and down into your heart. And then once more, letting that beautiful love from the Creator of all, from Source God, Creator Consciousness, from who we all come, breathe that light down from your crown chakra, deep into your heart. Hold it there for just a moment and breathe out. Let that love flow through your entire being, through your entire body, through your astral bodies, your spiritual body, as well as your physical body. Let it go out from your feet down into Gaia's crystalline core. Feel your connectedness both above and below, the oneness that you are with everything, the connectedness that we all share. So, the other day I did a activation from Lily Nova. It was a higher self activation, and ever since I've been getting just such a tremendous sense of reawakened purpose and more intuitive downloads, and then quite some time. And so, first of all, I want to recommend that activation if you haven't tried it. It's on Lily Nova's YouTube channel. It's the one from this past Sunday. It's called the Higher Self Activation. Let's see, today's February 22nd. It's a Wednesday, so that would have been 21st, 20th, the 19th, I believe. Sunday, February 19th, if I'm getting my dates right. But go and look for it under her lives, Higher Self Activation. And I've also been listening to, other intuitives like Honey Golden, Janine Morageau, Mary from Glimpsing Beyond. And I mean, we all know, like, it really does help to activate our own abilities to listen to and learn from others who have been, awakened, in some cases their whole lives. Like, they've just always known, they've always been tuned in. But as we tune in, we start to find ourselves more and more, getting those intuitive messages that come from Source, like those downloads. And just something I've noticed too, we want to caution ourselves about, like, sometimes we need to make sure that the message isn't just, our own subconscious, or it's something coming from fear. And if it does appear to be coming from a place of fear, then it's a good time to, question it and really ask, is this genuinely, a download, or is this just something where I'm feeling fear? And why, if I'm feeling fear, why am I feeling that fear? Feel it in your heart, whether or not it, the message feels true, and whether it was just something that, you created in your head, or if it's something that actually has come to you from your higher self, from Creator, Source, God, from higher consciousness. So, when we do that, we can tune in, we can start to ask questions. We can find those answers that are so often, said to be given to us from external authorities and external structures and things like that. Like, we're so used to going to whatever the educational institution, medical, religious, whatever it is. We're so used to going to these institutions to get our answers and our information. But the problem with that is like we have been collectively traumatized for so long that that's all that we do. And so we don't ever stop to think like, wait a minute, is this actually true? Like, is this actually good advice, or is this actually like true teaching? Does it really resonate with me? So take the time to ask yourself that question and feel it out, like within, like, does it feel true or right to you? And then as you start to connect to your higher self, you will start to get information that comes from within. And when you hear outside information, you may even immediately get like an immediate response or download. More often than not, when it comes to intuition, the first thing that comes to your mind is usually, the most accurate. Now, I want to caution you, because be careful if it's coming from a place of fear, not to just act out in fear, but maybe sit with it and consider what you've heard. But there's been a couple of messages, downloads that I've been getting lately that I wanted to share with all of you. And I'd love to know what you get when you hear what I'm talking about, and if it resonates with you at all, or if it doesn't, please feel free to share either way. And these are things that I've just been picking up on and noticing. So the other day, I think I was listening to Honey Golden, and she was talking about what she was getting for the price of silver. And this was like a while ago. Like, we've known that silver's been suppressed for a long time now. But she was getting that silver at the time would, far surpass even the value of gold in the near future, and go so much higher. And the amount that she was getting at the time was $18,000. And immediately when she said that, the number 28,000 popped into my head. That was the intuitive download that I got at that time. So, when you hear me say that, what pops into your head? What resonates for you? Not that we should be concerned or obsessed with value or money. As long as we're staying in our trust and in our flow state, all that we need will come to us, and we are manifesting it. But use it as an exercise to help you feel and think about what your intuition is telling you. Another one that I got recently had to do with, this has been on my mind a lot. It's been ever since I've learned about dolphin birth, which I read about first in Drunvalo Melchizedek's book, The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life, which I was reading from in my last video. It talked about the miracle of dolphin birth, and how the pregnancies that have, experienced being close to dolphins have been so much easier and so much more natural and so much more healthy for both the mother and the child. And that the children who have been born from dolphin birth, from having dolphins interact with the baby and the mother before the baby is born, are incredibly intuitive and empathic and incredibly tuned in. And I got so many downloads associated with that. I got like a sense that this was something that, in places in past, and we may be talking as far back as like Lemuria, that this was something that was done more regularly here on this planet. This was a part of life that we were meant to have more of a symbiotic relationship with dolphins, or at least a number of us, those who it resonates with, because it may also depend on, your DNA and what your background is genetically. However, it just, for many, it seems like there's just such a strong connection and symbiosis there. I also got the nudge to watch the movie 2010, The Year We Made Contact, which is a movie I don't watch a whole lot of movies anymore, but this was one that I felt like this intuitive nudge from within, from the creator source, to just say, hey, check this out. There's some important information in there. And there was a lot that I got from that movie. In the movie, for one thing, there are people who are living side by side with dolphins. I mean, the main character's wife is a marine biologist, but they actually have like a dolphin, a way for dolphins to come into their home and swim up into their living room, and they can feed them and interact with them, and you see their son playing with them. And I just got like this really strong sense of like, this is something that we would benefit greatly from doing. And then in addition to that, there was the whole, at the spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie, you might want to pause this part. But I mean, the rest of the movie, it is kind of long, so I don't know if it's worth sitting through the whole thing, unless you really want to do that. There might be other things in there that might unlock for you. But the other thing that really unlocked for me was that at the end of the movie, they activate, by going up and interacting with these monoliths on the other planets in our solar systems. They activate one of these other planets, so that there's basically a second sun in our sky, and it allows us to have more light during the night, or it does in the movie. And then also, it's not like it balances out with the sun that we currently have. And I got so many downloads from that as well. Like, this is something that there's a lot of people who are talking about seeing like a second sun. Mark Atwood just did a video where they had done this clearing around this ancient megalithic site where elites had blocked it off using, these stones and these copper rods that have, blocked the positive energy coming from this site. And when he did, they saw this second sun, like this 5D sun. So as we're ascending as a planet, like I'm getting, this is something we might actually start to see in our future. So, I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but what do you guys get about that? Do you get any downloads? And then, yeah, those were, and then there was another one, which was, for some reason, the phrase tactile hologram keeps coming into my head. I think I had heard like something about tactile holograms was from Gene Decode, and I think Honey Golden had also been talking about it, how a lot of the apparently there's a lot of installations around that have already been removed, and what we're seeing are tactile holograms, which are they appear and feel physical, but they can actually be deactivated and removed somehow. So we may see some of these, like I'm thinking like maybe famous sites that we think are still there that may not be. They've just been kept there to keep people, to help people through this transition until they're ready. And I don't know exactly which ones, but say for example, it's a low frequency structure like Buckingham Palace. And like it's already been removed in some ways, but what we're seeing now is a tactile hologram just to keep people from, getting too upset or worried and drastically lowering their frequencies until they're ready, until they, understand the depth and depravity of the royals to the point where that's something that they're okay with. So I got the words anyway, like that's just an example of something that could be that. I don't know that is. But I got the words tactile hologram. And I got the sense that tactile holograms are something that we may use while we are transitioning to learning how to use our 5D gifts more efficiently. because we all have the ability to manifest and to really to create whatever we need. We're just so programmed to go outside of ourselves for those things that it's hard for us to connect within and to remember, that we have this manifestation ability. And it takes a lot of inner work and really just so much inner healing and trust and growth to be able to do that, to have the belief that we can do that. So what I got was that, things like tactile holograms might help us make that shift. If you see, for example, like there's stuff that we have that we use, but we don't need it all the time, such as like a table and chairs. Like you don't always need that, but there are times when you need to sit down and eat or work on something, and then, boom, there they are. The idea is like you can deactivate it and reactivate it when you don't need it. And again, like, we don't want to become, the problem with things like that can be is that if we become reliant on technology, we become, again, less able to use our manifestation abilities. But it may be something that we see for a time show up to help us along the way. Maybe not, I don't know. And then, like, I think there was another one. I can't think of it right now, but what kinds of things are you guys seeing? Oh, I remember now. It was replicator technology. So maybe this is the same thing or just similar, but the idea like being that, anything can be formed out of molecules, and the technology exists or will be released to the public soon that allows us to have, if there's something that we need, like a table and chairs, for example. And then the other side of it, without having to go and, like basically create a lot of industrial waste by manufacturing things and all of that. And then the other side of it is that when we're done with these things, like they can be re-molecularized and either dispersed or used as something else. And the really great advantage to this would be to take care of things like landfills, and just waste and things of that nature, to reduce it to the molecular level so that it is no longer polluting and causing problems, things of that nature. So that's something I'm also feeling like we may see in the future. But really the most beneficial thing to downloads, to having these intuitive insights, is knowing, okay, now I have this knowledge. What do I want to do with it? What do I want to manifest? We're so accustomed to having rules or laws to tell us what to do, religion to tell us what to do. It's basically a list of do's and don'ts, and it becomes dead and dry after a while. So, it loses the heart of the matter in so many ways if we're not living from the heart. And really what we should be doing is asking ourselves, what do I want to manifest? As there's this, the axiom, as within, so without. And if we are, coming from a place that is wounded and we're constantly lashing out with hatred and venom towards others, instead of a place of healing, we're going to be manifesting that same hatred and venom back towards ourselves, in our direct day-to-day actions. If you, and I mean, it goes even further than that too. Like when you hear something that sounds scary or fearful, let's say like it's some scary news, we have that opportunity we can either react out of fear, and then we've manifested that fear for ourselves, and then we're living from a place of fear, or just the idea of like, we'll never get out of a bad situation, or we'll never be able to have our dream job, or whatever it is, or our dream life path, when in reality, like, those are things that come from fearful woundedness. Instead of doing that, I challenge you, I challenge myself, transmute that fear. How can you turn it around? If you hear something negative, like let's say you're out, in the grocery store and you hear like a song and there's something like negative in it, you don't like it. Well, how can you turn it around and transmute that and just like let it go? I always breathe through the chakras when I notice like something's affecting a certain chakra. If it's fear, the root chakra, I'm acknowledging that fear and then processing it and then letting it go, breathing it out. And I mean, there are times where it becomes deeper than that. Like if you need to spend time emotionally releasing and letting the tears flow, take the time to do that and really let it all through, let it all out and process it so it doesn't stay bottled up, so that you don't manifest harder things for yourself. So that, anyway, that's to me like the great advantage to downloads is that we can then say, oh, now that I have some information, how do I work with this? How do I work with my intuition? What do I want to manifest? Do I want to manifest hate and fear, or do I want to manifest transmuting that into love and consideration and grace and kindness to others? So I hope that that's meaningful to all of you today, this message. And I wanted to also thank you all once again who were able to come out and help on the Sovereign Voices donation drive that was on Mary's channel, Glimpsing Beyond, last week. We had such a wonderful turnout, and it was a beautiful time of people sharing their gifts, their gratitude for Gypsy Mama and all of the blessings that she has given them, and also blessing those who were in the audience. So thank you if you were able to be a part of that, and thank you for any donations you might have given. And even if you weren't able to, just thank you for your positive energy and sharing in that collective experience together. This is why we are here at this time. Like, we're here to unite and come together as a soul tribe, as soul family, and bless each other and protect and provide for each other and lift each other up, give each other hope wherever it's needed, because we're not in this alone. And the more that we go within and heal ourselves, the more we can rise and stand together. And think about, like, is there a way that I can help build and live in that place of Christ consciousness? How can I live from that perspective of Christ consciousness today? Anyways, I love all of you. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I hope you're having a beautiful week. Take the time to go within, enjoy these new moon and Pisces energies, and reflect and consider, what do you want to manifest? Namaste.